Oh yeah, this is about as close to gee whiz technology as it gets, Mark. You're talking about making old wells productive. All right, with me, the CEO, Clancy Cottman, and the CFO, John Wimbish, of course, from NiMin Energy. Clancy, John, you guys just explain how this process works.
All right, Adam, we've got a new technology. It's a proprietary patent-pending technology in California where we inject pure oxygen foamed with a surfactant, which is really soap for layman's terms.
So oxygenated foam goes down into the well?
Yes, we inject it in the top of the reservoir, the oil reservoir. The oil burns with the oxygen, creating CO2 and flashing the water to steam. And now we have CO2 repressurization. And
so in other words, all the CO2, all that gas repressurizes the well?
Exactly, repressurizes the reservoir, and then that pushes the oil out through our production wells.
Okay, and the steam, does that heat up the oil so it flows a little more easily?
Absolutely. Very conventional in California, but our wells are a little too deep for conventional steaming. But in our process, it heats the oil, makes it less viscous, and it flows easier into the wells.
Neat. Now, do you guys have to dig a separate well? Do you go underneath, sort of like frac drilling, or do you use the existing well that's already there?
Great question. No, we actually drill at the very top, a single injection well, and we produce from top down, not bottom up. So it's interesting.
And you can do that because it's repressurized.
Exactly.
That's right. We use gravity to drain the oil. And that repressurization basically creates a plunger and just pushes the oil straight down to our producing wells.
In other words, that well is like it's like a sphere down there. The pressure of the CO2 pushes the oil down, the oil comes up and right out the top.
Right, I always like to describe it as a plunger, just pushing down, envision it like that,
right.
And your producing wells are below it, and they're there to extract the oil.
Now, as I understand it, a lot of these wells, we can't say left for dead, nothing's ever left for dead, but they became uneconomic for the previous owners, is that correct?
Well, exactly. We had about 38 million barrels of oil there. The first operator took out 2 million barrels, and then the reservoir was what we call dead, no energy, the oil was left there. Our process lets us get back up to 60% of the oil that's left in place.
Wow. All right, so let's talk about how commercial this is as you look at other projects around California.
Well, there's probably 4 billion barrels that are stranded in different reservoirs around California that we can apply this technology to.
All right, just help us understand, 4 billion barrels, that's what, about enough oil to satisfy the U.S. for a year?
About a year.
Just in California, this process enables the U.S. to get another year's worth of oil, just out of California.
Just in the San Joaquin Basin of California.
And why are you the only guys who are doing this?
Well, we looked at this field and looked at a number of different options and came up with this strategy, which no one else in the world is doing.
And was this sort of dumb logic? You stumbled upon it, or is this years of research, or how did it come together?
This is smart logic.
All right, talk to me about smart logic. How did it happen?
We have a team of scientists that have done a lot of work in enhanced oil recovery, and we blended together a few different technologies that are proven, and that's how we came up with this process. Ours is a lot more efficient than anyone has ever done, but that's how we came.
All right, so huge opportunity, obviously, for NiMin. You've got a patent pending on this thing.
Yep.
How do you grow it? What are the different ways you exploit the process and of course, try to help the country become less dependent on foreign oil?
Well, kind of 3 options. We can buy other fields, like we did this field, and then apply our technology. We can joint venture with other operators in the area that, say, own the field but don't obviously have the technology, or we can license it. And that's about the priority, but I honestly see JVs as probably the most likely second, joint ventures with other operators.
In other words, you're using someone else's balance sheet, in effect, to grow the thing, and you still have an ownership because it's a joint venture as opposed to licensing.
Exactly, Adam. They put the reserves in, and we bring the technology, and we share the capital, and then share the upside.
Now, how likely how likely is it you'll actually get the patent?
Oh,
$1 million question. But.
$1 million question. Well, we're about 18 months into the process, and we think about 6 to 9 months we'll have the patent.
And is it such right now it's protected so that if another company wanted to do it, they wouldn't be able to do exactly the way you do it?
Exactly. We're far enough along, and we've covered enough of the bases that we think we're protected.
All right, NiMin Energy, you guys trade in Canada. Ticker is NNN. All right, guys, so there you have it. Making old wells viable again. It's something that only NiMin Energy does, making this country less dependent on foreign oil. It's a pretty amazing story.